This CoinWeek podcast is brought to you by PCGS, celebrating its 30th year as the standard in the rare coin business. To learn more about PCGS and its 30th anniversary products, visit www.pcgs.com. 193, the Year of Five Emperors. This CoinWeek podcast is adapted from an article published on CoinWeek by ancient coin expert Mike Markowitz. In Ridley Scott's film Gladiator, demented Emperor Commodus is slain in the Colosseum by mortally wounded general-turned-gladiator Maximus. In the closing scene, we are left to imagine that wise Senator Gracchus and lovely Princess Lucilla will govern Rome as agents until boy heir Lucius Verus comes of age. It's a beautifully crafted scene, emotionally powerful, and historically absolute rubbish. Here's what actually happened. By the end of 192 CE, it was clear to everyone in Rome that Emperor Commodus was dangerously insane. Plots began to form. His favorite concubine, Marcia, slipped poison into his wine, but he threw it up. Plan B. A wrestler named Narcissus strangled him. The next morning, on New Year's Day, 193, the Praetorian Guard proclaimed Pertinax, the elder city manager, as emperor. The Senate joyfully confirmed him and declared the dead Commodus a public enemy, revoking his decrees and tearing down his statues. So began the Year of Five Emperors, a chaotic period that would keep the coin die engravers at Roman mints very busy indeed. Some of the rarest Roman coins were struck during the next few months, along with many available to collectors today at surprisingly modest cost. Pertinax. Born in northern Italy in 126 CE, Publius Helvius Pertinax was the son of a freed slave. Because his father prospered in business, young Pertinax received a good education and became a teacher. However, at the age of 35, he joined the army because the pay was better. Rising quickly through the ranks, he gained the notice of Emperor Marcus Aurelius, who made him a senator and gave him a series of provincial commands. In 175, he served as consul, a largely honorary title, but one that still carried great prestige. Most historians agree Pertinax was implicated in the death of Commodus, but he probably saw this as a last resort to save Rome, not as a personal power grab. Considering that he ruled for just 87 days, his coinage is remarkable. 6 issues of gold, 11 of silver, and 14 in bronze or copper at Rome, and several at Alexandria, including rare types, honoring his young wife Titiana and son Pertinax Jr. He raised the silver content of the denarius from 74% to 87%. His powerful, bearded portrait conveys a sense of gravitas, that untranslatable Latin term that combines seriousness, authority, and the power to command respect. It wasn't enough to prevent his overthrow, however. On March 28, Pertinax tried to quell a mutiny of unruly Praetorian Guard. He was killed by a javelin to the chest. From the Historia Augusta, his head, fixed on a pole, was carried through the city to the camp by the soldiers who killed him. His remains, including his head, which was recovered, were laid in the tomb of his wife's grandfather, and Julianus, his successor, buried his body with all honor after he had found it in the palace. Didius Julianus. Born to a distinguished senatorial family around 133 CE, Marcus Didius Julianus grew up in the household of Domitia Lucilla, mother of Marcus Aurelius. Like many elite Roman men, he advanced through the cursus honorum, a series of increasingly responsible civil and military offices, rising to the consulship in the same year as Pertinax. He may have been implicated in the mutiny that led to the death of Pertinax. Sources uniformly treat him as a scoundrel and a coward. According to legend, the Praetorian Guard auctioned the empire, and Julianus offered the winning bid of 25,000 sesterces for every guardsman, equal to 6,250 silver denarii or 250 gold auri, more than 10 times the regular salary per man. It's a great story, but it probably never happened. The only other bidder, Titus Flavius Claudius Sulpicianus, urban prefect and father of the late emperor's wife, was unacceptable to the guards, who feared that he would try to avenge Pertinax. Julianus wasted no time in issuing coins promoting his imperial reign and honoring his wife, Manila Scantilla, and daughter, Didia Clara, On the reverse, he holds a globe and proclaims himself Rector Orbis, master of the world. Nervous about the loyalty of his troops, his most common reverse type is Concordia Militum, consent of the army. As his enemies closed in, Julianus grew desperate. Attempting to conciliate his main rival, he added the name Severus to his own nomenclature on the coinage, even as he dispatched assassins, unsuccessfully, to kill him. Held in contempt by the Senate and people of Rome, Julianus was conducted into a private apartment of the baths of the palace and beheaded as a common criminal after having purchased with an immense treasure an anxious and precarious reign of only 66 days. The Praetorian Guard never got the money he promised. Pescennius Niger. Born in Italy between 135 and 140 CE, Gaius Pescennius Niger rose to the rank of consul in 190. Commodus appointed him governor of Syria in 191. His unusual cognomen, or nickname, means black, and is supposedly based on the fact that he had very dark skin on his neck. When news of the murder of Pertinax arrived, 9 legions in the east proclaimed him emperor. His coinage was struck at Antioch in Syria, Alexandria in Egypt, and Caesarea in Cappadocia. Caesarea was a popular Roman place name like Springfield in the U.S. Issued in haste to pay the troops, the coins often have blundered inscriptions and crude workmanship, but some are impressive, like the rare debased silver tetradrachm of Antioch. For centuries, numismatists believed that Pescennius issued no gold, and fakes appeared as early as the 17th century. About a dozen auri, some unique, many in museums, are now accepted as genuine. A clash between the western legions of Severus and the eastern legions of Pescennius was inevitable. After his army was defeated at Issus, where Alexander the Great outfought the Persian army of Darius III in 333 BCE, Pescennius was captured and beheaded. Clodius Albinus. Little is known of his personality except that he had a melancholy outlook and a foul sense of humor, but he was brave in battle and harsh in his discipline. Decimus Clodius Septimus Albinus, whose cognomen refers to his extremely light complexion, was born about 140 CE at Hadramintum in Tunisia. He rose to the rank of consul in 187 and was appointed governor of Britain by Commodus. After Septimus Severus was proclaimed emperor by his legions in April 193, he quickly offered Albinus the empty title of Caesar, in theory, the emperor's designated successor. Severus issued coins at Rome in the name of Albinus as Caesar, but the portrait is similar to that of Severus himself, and the engravers might have lacked a realistic image to work from. Coinage in the name of Albinus as Caesar included at least 5 types in gold, all very rare, 7 in silver and 10 in bronze. Albinus declared himself emperor in 195 when Severus elevated his son, the future emperor of Caracalla, to the rank of Caesar. His imperial coinage, minted at Lugdunum, present-day Lyon, France, is considerably scarcer than his coinage as Caesar and has distinctly different portrait. Defeated in a battle near Lugdunum, he killed himself to avoid capture. Septimus Severus. The winners get to write history. So much of what we know about the year of 5 emperors is the version that Severus wanted recorded. Septimus Severus, a native of Africa, who, in a gradual ascent of private honors, had concealed his daring ambition, which was never diverted from its steady course by the allurements of pleasure, and apprehension of danger, or the feelings of humanity, said Gibbon. Born to an influential family in 145 at Leptis Magna in Libya, his ancestry was Punic, and probably Berber on his father's side, and Roman on his mother's side. He had a successful military career, rose to consul in 190, and then became governor of Pannonia and the Danube frontier. When the news of the murder of Pertinax arrived, the 3 legions based at the headquarters in the town of Carnuntum acclaimed Severus as emperor. He immediately marched on Rome, made short work of Didius Julianus, and disbanded the treacherous Praetorians after executing the men who killed Pertinax. He then added Pertinax to his own name to honor the former emperor's memory. The coinage of Severus' 18-year reign is vast in quantity and variety, but his initial issues from 193 included a handsome victory aureus and a series of denarii to honor and to pay the 16 legions that eventually supported him. Collecting the 5 emperors. Gold aurei of the 5 emperors bring prices beginning in the thousands of dollars, running into hundreds of thousands for rare types and high grades with posh pedigrees. Nice denarii of Severus can be found often for under $100, but those of other players of 193 typically sell for several hundred to a few $1,000s. Worn bronzes can be quite affordable, but rare sestarii in the near mint state may bring tens of thousands of dollars at auction. The maxim, buy the book before you buy the coin, captures the wisdom of generations of collectors. A solid, up-to-date reference for the coinage of the period is the second volume of David Sears' masterful Roman coins and their values, published in 2002. It'll cost you about $76, which is quite a small investment. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with your friends. Also, you can download all the other episodes of the CoinWeek Podcast for free on the iTunes Store. For CoinWeek, I'm CoinWeek editor Charles Morgan. Until next time, happy collecting.